Welcome to Campsite 204. This is the installation video for the Dash Off-Road Predator bumper for the 2017 to 2020 Nissan Armadas. You're going to first start off by removing everything on your front end from the bumper to the grille and loosen the over fenders on each side. Take your time doing this and make sure you don't scratch anything. This is a quick overview of all the parts that are included. This is the paint to match model. We also offer it in a textured finish. Here I am just finishing up removing everything, including the lower skid plate. There, I remove the front bash bar, which is the main bumper support. After removing this bumper support, I noticed it was a little bit rusty underneath there, so I went ahead and taped off each of the studs, sanded it down a little bit, and painted the frame horns with just some anti-corrosion spray paint. You can use primer or regular spray paint, whatever you've got available, but just do something. After that, remove the center grille support, and I bring in the cradle. This is the main section of the bumper. It is very heavy, and we're going to go ahead and get that bolted up using the stock nuts that go on the studs there. And take note, there is a sneaky bolt that goes on the inside of the cradle there. Just keep an eye on that and make sure you get that in there. If you have a winch, go ahead and get that mounted up now. I'm just showing the brackets there that hold the crossbar for the grille. Now I'm removing the plastic trim from each side of the headlights, and I'm mounting the L brackets. The thickest one goes in the middle, and the two thinner ones go on the outside near the headlights. Get those all bolted up. Next we'll go to the side of the fenders and remove the fender trim here. That plastic piece comes right off. There's two pinch clamps that are on the back that you can use a set of needle nose to get off. Next, you select which light bar you would like to use, the solid bar or the LED open section light bar. There are two nuts and bolts that go on either side. One feeds up through the bottom of the bumper and one goes through the top. And this is just a expanded view of those. The next step is to get the two backing plates for the center section shown here. And you go ahead and slide on your center section of your bumper and get the bolts. And you're going to go ahead and mate all of this together. Now it's important to note that you can leave the bolts just slightly snug. You don't need to firm them all the way down, because at the end of this we are going to do a bunch of adjusting. The center section adjusts from left to right a little bit. It also adjusts up and down, as well as the winglets, the outer sections. You can adjust slightly, quite a few millimeters up and down and forward and back. And so this is just showing some of the tinkering there. And now we're going to add on the wings. So when you bolt these up, you're just kind of eyeballing everything, keeping everything kind of loose. I do recommend adding painter's tape to the top of the wings so that you don't scratch them on the headlights. While you're adjusting everything, you can always peel it off at the end. But usually in my experience, whatever can go wrong will. And if you had these things custom painted, there's nothing more frustrating than scratching it while you're installing it. We're going to save that for the trails. So we're going to go ahead and do the passenger side as well. Now this next step is critical. You're going to want to take your time, measure twice, cut once. You can use a Dremel, you can use a cutting wheel, whatever you'd like, but leave some extra material. So I use some painter's tape and I line it up with the line on the lower winglet there. You can always sand more, so take your time doing it and maybe leave some extra material there. I also had to cut this section out of the fender liner, and we will cut the fender liner lower part later as well. From there, I adjusted everything and tightened up the bolts to get them where I wanted it. You want to leave about a 1/2 inch gap, like I said, between the fender and the end of the wing and the under section of the headlight. This image right here actually shows the winglet too close to the headlight. I later had to adjust this because your car flexes so much on the trails. You tighten up all the bolts underneath here. This is an underside shot. Again, you can adjust everything forward, back, up, down, but just get everything snugged up there, nice and tight. Once you have everything where you want it, you've got it all lined up nice and pretty, we're going to tighten everything and we're going to add the support brackets to the back of the winglets. They are a textured black finish, and there are 4 bolts and nuts that go with those. Now these are some little brackets that I made so I could use the factory fog lights. I'm going to show them here. The passenger side actually is a little bit different and had to be manipulated, but you get the point. So here I'm showing a gap on the headlights and the bumper that is not sufficient. You need more gap. Now I'm showing the under trim section here. Everything's tightened up. The lower trim there protects the radiator. This is before I added the skid plate underneath. But everything is lined up pretty much how I want it. And I actually, like I said, ended up having to increase the gap between the headlight and the bumper so that it's about a finger's width, about a ½ inch. And this allows for chassis flex on the trails. These are overland vehicles. If you're going to use them, that's how they're designed. They're designed to have that space in them. There is supposed to be a gap there. For more products and information, go to campsite204.com. Thanks for watching.